Okay, picture this. You've just wrapped up a massive client survey. The numbers are crunched, the stats are all checked out, and your findings? They're 100% correct. But are they going to make an impact? Or just get a polite nod in the boardroom before everyone forgets? In this explainer, we're diving into how to move beyond being simply right and start delivering insights that are truly unforgettable. So let's just start with this big question. In our line of work, right, the goal isn't just to present accurate data. The real goal is to deliver value, to actually change how people see things, to create a breakthrough. You see, the power of an idea isn't just in its truth, it's in its ability to be memorable and to spark real action. And this idea brings us to the heart of our explainer today, which is rooted in this amazing 1971 paper by a sociologist named Murray S. Davis. He made this radical argument that the ideas that really last, the ones that stick with us, they aren't always the most factually perfect. Nope. They're the ones that grab our attention by challenging what we thought we already knew. And that leads us to a huge problem for anyone who presents research or data. I mean, we spend so much time making sure our findings are correct. But being correct, that's often just the price of admission. The truth is, a ton of factually accurate work just completely fails to make any impact at all. According to Davis, uninteresting ideas always get one of three reactions. First, you get, "That's obvious," which basically means you just confirmed what they already believe. Yawn. Then there's, "That's irrelevant," meaning it has absolutely no connection to their world. And finally, you might hear, "That's absurd. It's so far-fetched they just dismiss it out of hand." The goal, the absolute holy grail of any presentation, is to hear that one beautiful phrase, "That's interesting." So how do we get there? You might think it's some kind of creative voodoo, but Davis found something incredible. There's actually a surprisingly simple and really powerful formula behind almost every single interesting idea. And here it is. An idea is interesting not because it's new, but because it denies an assumption your audience takes for granted. It's about taking what they believe is solid ground and showing them it's actually quicksand. And it all boils down to this simple, elegant structure. You start by stating the common assumption, the X that everyone in the room is nodding along to, and then bam, you reveal that your data shows the complete opposite is true, that the reality is non-X. That's the moment. That's what makes an audience sit up and really listen. Now, Davis didn't just stop there. He created a whole index of these assumption-busting patterns. Let's walk through a few that are just incredibly powerful for consultants, starting with how we think about organization. Right, so the common assumption is that if a system doesn't have clear written rules, it must be chaotic and inefficient. The truly interesting insight is when you find that hidden order, that informal but super effective structure working just beneath the surface. Just think about this for a second. Your client hires you to fix their supposedly chaotic sales process. But what if your research shows that this messy process is actually a well-oiled machine, run by experienced reps who know exactly how to cut through the red tape? The interesting insight here isn't to formalize it, it's to understand it and maybe even protect it. Okay, our next tool challenges assumptions about how things are related. This is all about finding these unexpected connections or correlations between things your client never dreamed were connected. So the assumption here is that two things are just operating in totally separate universes. Factor A has nothing to do with factor B. The interesting insight is when your data draws a direct, surprising line right between them. See how this just completely reframes the whole problem? The client is spending a fortune on a price war they probably can't win, but your data shows the real problem isn't price at all, it's their onboarding experience. The battle isn't against the competition, it's against a frustrating internal process. Now that is an interesting, actionable insight. And this brings us to what might be the most powerful pattern in the whole toolkit, reversing the arrow of cause and effect. This one can literally change the way a client understands their own business. Everyone in the room agrees that A causes B. I mean, it's just obvious, right? The most interesting and often the most valuable thing you can possibly do is prove that actually B is causing A. Look at this classic scenario. The client wants to plan team-building retreats and happy hours to boost morale, but your research shows that's a total waste of time. The employees aren't unmotivated, they're just completely frustrated. If you fix the broken project management process, the morale will fix itself. You've just saved them time, money, and pointed them directly at the real problem. So you see, this isn't just some fascinating academic theory. It is a practical, hands-on framework you can use to turn your next data dump into a compelling story that actually drives change. Here's exactly how you do it. It's a 3-step plan. Step 1, you have to isolate the client's core assumption. Before you even open your presentation, you need to know their worldview. What do they consider obvious? What are their sacred cows? Step 2, you hunt for the contradiction. You dive into your data specifically looking for the thing that challenges that belief. You're an anomaly hunter. And then, step 3, you frame your insight using that powerful, what seems to be X is, in reality, non-X structure. The real power of this approach is that it completely transforms your role. You stop being just a provider of data. You become a perspective shifter, a real game changer. So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. Your next big breakthrough won't come from discovering a new fact. It's going to come from finding the courage to challenge a belief that everyone else just takes for granted. That's the leap from just being correct to being truly valuable. So, as we wrap up, I'm going to leave you with this one question to take to your very next project. What is that core, unquestioned, obvious truth your client holds? Because hidden inside that assumption isn't just your next data point, it's your next breakthrough. That's where you'll find the story that really, truly sings.